The Miller family was haunted, not by a spirit but by a photograph. Their home, once filled with laughter, now echoed with silence and unanswered questions. The photograph sat on the mantelpiece, a constant reminder of what was lost. It was more than just an image, it was a symbol of hope, grief, and the passage of time. A chubby-cheeked baby, Leo, smiled from the mantelpiece, forever frozen in time, his innocence untouched by the tragedy that would follow. In reality, Leo was gone, vanished from his crib one quiet morning in 2008, leaving behind only questions and heartbreak. The case went cold, leaving a wound in his parents, Sarah and Tom, and the town of Harmony Creek. The pain lingered, unspoken but ever present. For 17 years, Leo was a memory, a ghost in family albums. Every birthday, every holiday, his absence was felt more deeply. Then a new chapter began, one that no one could have predicted. A teenager named Daniel appeared, 17, with no memory before age 5, raised far from Harmony Creek. He was searching for answers of his own. A viral social media post brought his face to the town's attention, sparking whispers and speculation. He looked uncannily like an older Leo. The resemblance was undeniable, stirring old wounds and new hope. Could the ghost in the photograph have returned? The possibility seemed both miraculous and impossible. The idea seemed impossible, yet hope flickered. For the first time in years, the Millers dared to dream. For the Millers, pain never faded. The possibility of Leo's return was both thrilling and terrifying. Every emotion surfaced at once: fear, joy, disbelief. The story gripped the town, and soon the nation. News crews arrived, and strangers offered theories and support. It became a search for identity, for truth buried nearly 2 decades. Old secrets and forgotten memories resurfaced. Daniel had no past, the Millers couldn't forget theirs. Both sides longed for answers, but feared what they might find. Their worlds were about to collide, forever changing the course of their lives. Was Daniel really Leo? Where had he been all these years? The truth was within reach, but so were more questions. The answers would shock everyone, unraveling a mystery that had haunted Harmony Creek for so long. The ghost in the photograph was about to step out of the frame and into the world of the living. And nothing would ever be the same for the Millers, for Daniel, or for the town that had never forgotten Leo. Before the silence, the Miller house was alive with laughter and lullabies. The walls echoed with the sounds of a young family discovering the world together, every corner filled with warmth and hope. Sarah and Tom's world revolved around baby Leo. Every smile, every tiny milestone was a celebration. Their days were a tapestry of bedtime stories, gentle rocking and whispered dreams for the future. Every day brought new joys, until the day everything changed. In an instant, the rhythm of their lives was shattered, replaced by a fear they never imagined. October 14, 2008. Sarah left Leo for a moment, just long enough to fetch a bottle or fold a blanket. It was a moment like any other, ordinary and unremarkable. When she returned, the crib was empty. The silence was deafening, a void where laughter had just been. Panic set in, and the world seemed to stop. Police, neighbors, and volunteers searched everywhere, but Leo had vanished without a trace. The community rallied, combing every street and field, but hope faded with each passing hour. No clues, no ransom, no witnesses, just a void. Days blurred into years, and the unanswered questions haunted every sunrise. The Millers kept Leo's room untouched, a shrine to what should have been. Toys remained where he last played, and his clothes hung neatly in the closet, waiting for a return that never came. Life continued, but always in the shadow of loss. Every family gathering, every holiday was marked by his absence. They had a daughter, Chloe, but the ache for Leo never left. Chloe grew up in a house where love and longing coexisted, her laughter sometimes tinged with the sadness she couldn't fully understand. The family stayed in Harmony Creek, unable to leave the last place they saw their son. The house became both a sanctuary and a prison, holding memories they couldn't bear to abandon. Their home was filled with love, but also with absence. Every empty chair, every quiet moment was a reminder of what was lost. The town mourned with them, but the pain was uniquely theirs. Friends and neighbors offered comfort, but only the Millers truly felt the depth of the void. The hole in their hearts was a constant, silent presence. It lingered in every glance, every memory, every hope that refused to die. Leo's laughter was missing, his place at the table empty. The family learned to speak around the silence, but it was always there. The Millers learned to live with grief, but never to let go. Their love for Leo endured, woven into the fabric of their lives. The past lingered in every room, memories clung to the walls, refusing to fade with time. For 17 years, hope was a distant memory. The seasons changed, but the ache remained, a silent companion through the years, until the day a stranger's face reignited it. A knock at the door, a hesitant smile, and suddenly the possibility of answers. The hole in their home was waiting to be filled, and for the first time in years, hope flickered in the shadows. 17 years after Leo vanished, a college student in Harmony Creek stumbled upon his cold case while researching late into the night. She was drawn in by the mystery, reading every article and forum post she could find, unable to shake the feeling that there was more to the story. At the same time, she watched a video of a local teen named Daniel, who was passionate about skateboarding and often posted clips of his tricks online. His energy and confidence caught her attention. The resemblance between Daniel and the age-progressed image of Leo was uncanny. Even the birthmark on his cheek matched perfectly. It was as if the past was staring right back at her through the screen. Heart-pounding, she took a screenshot and posted it in a local community group asking, "Does this kid look familiar to anyone else?" She hoped someone would recognize him. The post spread like wildfire, quickly going viral throughout Harmony Creek and even reaching neighboring towns. People began sharing it, tagging friends and speculating in the comments. Tom Miller, Leo's father, saw the image at work. For a moment his heart stopped. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Could it really be his son? He rushed home, barely able to speak, and showed Sarah. Tears flowed as hope and fear collided in their eyes. The possibility was overwhelming. Meanwhile, Daniel's social media exploded with messages from strangers. "Are you Leo Miller? Do you remember your real family?" The questions came faster than he could read them. Daniel, who had been raised by his aunt Carol, was thrown into confusion. He'd never questioned his past, until now. He'd always felt something was missing. There were no baby photos, no real memories before age 5. The gaps in his childhood suddenly seemed impossible to ignore. Carol's answers about his early years were always vague, her stories changing slightly each time he asked. Now, her evasiveness felt suspicious. Now, his very identity was being questioned by the world. The pressure was immense and Daniel felt more alone than ever. The Millers dared to hope, but they also feared another heartbreak. Memories of past disappointments haunted them as they waited for answers. The town buzzed with speculation and cautious optimism. Neighbors whispered in cafes and old friends reconnected to discuss the news. The mystery of Leo Miller was alive again, reigniting hope and curiosity in everyone who remembered the case. Daniel's life was upended overnight. Everything he thought he knew about himself was suddenly in question. The search for truth had begun. Detectives reopened files and the community rallied to uncover what really happened all those years ago. Was this the miracle the Millers had waited for? The world watched, breathless, as the story unfolded in real time. The past and present were about to collide in ways no one could have predicted. One question echoed everywhere. Could Daniel really be Leo? The answer would mean everything to so many. As the sun rose over Harmony Creek, the town held its breath. The answer would change everything. Forever. The whispers became a roar. Harmony Creek police reopened the case. Chief Davies, who'd never forgotten Leo, assigned his best detectives. They coordinated with police in Daniel's city, approaching carefully. Carol, Daniel's guardian, claimed he was her nephew, producing a birth certificate. But her story began to unravel. Details about her sister and Daniel's birth didn't add up. Detectives pressed for more and Carol's answers grew evasive. The real breakthrough came from Daniel himself. He admitted he'd always felt something was missing. No baby photos, no real family history. He had a crescent-shaped scar on his knee, just like the one described in Leo's missing person report. That detail sent chills through the investigators. The evidence was mounting. The Millers' hope grew, but so did their fear. The truth was closer than ever. The next step was clear. DNA would decide everything. The ghost in the photograph was almost within reach. The scar was the turning point. With probable cause, police obtained a court order for a DNA test. Carol's composure crumbled as officers arrived. Daniel, torn between loyalty and longing for answers, agreed to the test. Sarah and Tom provided their samples, hearts pounding. The wait for results was agonizing. Meanwhile, investigators dug into Carol's past. They discovered her story was a lie, no deceased sister, a forged birth certificate. 17 years ago, Carol had worked as a cleaner in Harmony Creek, quitting abruptly after Leo's disappearance. The pieces fit together, a desperate woman, a stolen child, a web of lies. The truth was about to be revealed. The Millers braced for the final answer. The moment of reckoning had arrived. Harmony Creek buzzed with hope and anxiety. The town rallied around the Millers, offering support and solidarity. Chloe, Leo's sister, faced the surreal prospect of meeting her brother. The community organized fundraisers and shared memories, united by hope. Fear lingered. What if it wasn't him? The wait for DNA results was torture. The whole town held its breath, longing for a miracle. The DNA results were conclusive. Daniel was Leo Miller. Chief Davies called the Millers. "We found him. Leo is alive." Carol was arrested and confessed 17 years ago, longing for a child. She'd taken Leo. She'd raised him as her own, hiding the truth behind forged documents and distance. For Leo, the revelation was earth-shattering. The only mother he'd known was his kidnapper. The parents he thought were dead had searched for him all his life. Detectives gently explained the truth, showing him photos and news clippings. The story was simple, yet monstrous. One woman's desperate act, a family's stolen years. Carol's lie had lasted nearly 2 decades, but the truth finally surfaced. The Millers faced the daunting task of rebuilding their family. The town and the nation watched as the pieces fell into place. The ghost in the photograph had a name, a story, and a future. The past could not be undone, but hope had returned. The journey to healing had just begun. The reunion was raw and emotional, held in a therapist's office. Sarah and Tom met their son, a stranger, yet unmistakably theirs. Leo moved into his old room, now a museum of memories he didn't have. He bonded with Chloe, discovering family and self at once. The Millers learned who Leo had become, mourning lost years, but determined to build new ones. The town welcomed him home, celebrating the miracle. Carol pleaded guilty and was sentenced. Forgiveness was complicated. The family focused on healing, working with therapists to navigate trauma and reunion. They began creating new memories, finally whole. The photograph on the mantelpiece was no longer haunted, it was home. Leo Miller's story is one of hope, resilience, and the power of community. The Millers' journey didn't end with reunion, it was a new beginning, filled with joy and grief for lost years. Technology, once unimaginable, brought Leo home, a testament to the power of connection. Ordinary people united online solved what years of police work could not. Leo now faces the challenge of reconciling 2 lives and forging his identity. Nature and nurture, memory and blood, all shape who he is. The case offers rare light in the world of true crime, a miracle born of persistence and love. Harmony Creek proved a community's heart can endure. The Miller family, scarred but together, walks the long road home. The ghost in the photograph is finally where he belongs.